All right, let me make sure everything's awake. My seat cushion's acting up. My seat cushion is acting up, and YouTube is acting up, by the way. YouTube and my seat cushion, both acting up. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Okay, it looks like we're on. It looks like we're on. Let's make sure we're on the Rockfin, and it looks like we're on the Rockfin as well. Okay, it looks like we are live. YouTube, we're having a hard time on the YouTube. So just a quick announcement right now. I could not adjust my settings at all at YouTube. It wouldn't save anything. So we are not monetized. We do not have a chat. I am sorry for that. Please, if you want to chat, which I hope you do, go over to Rockfin, which you just go Rockfin, Ron Placone. You can check out today's stream. And yeah, sorry about that. YouTube has been giving us a hard time for a little while now, off and on. It's just something we're used to. If you want to support this show and make sure it stays on the air, patreon.com/Ron Placone. That's the best way to do it because YouTube is, just not really a friendly platform for us. It's just the way it goes. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. Give what you can level helps keep this show on the air. So that's that. And sorry to everybody. I apologize for this, but it's just the way it goes. But we're on Twitter, we're on Rockfin, and we're on YouTube. There's just no chat. So yeah. All right. We got the interview show today, and I'm pretty excited about my guest. So you guys know me. Electoralism is not my bag. It's not really my jam. But where it is more so my jam is local and quasi-local. And I'm pretty fortunate that in my city council race and in my state assembly district race, there are some candidates I'm excited about. And this candidate is one of them. She's run in the past. We had her on the show then. And now she is running in my district, in my state assembly district. So we're going to hear everything she's got going on. And there's a lot to talk about here and some broader lessons as well. So please welcome back to the show a candidate for State Assembly District 65, Fatima Iqbal-Zubair. Fatima, what's up?
Hi, Ron. Nice to be on here again. Nice to see everyone again. And yeah, great to be
Good
here.
to see you again. So I want to start with your story in regards to what happened with the district. So I live in the San Pedro neighborhood, and San
Mm-hmm.
Pedro as a neighborhood was broken off into two districts. And the district didn't just affect the San Pedro neighborhood; it also affected Wilmington, Watts, and I want to say part of Long Beach too. Is that
Yes,
correct? Or
yes.
okay, so a couple different areas were affected by this. It wasn't just my neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but you in particular had an interesting experience with this that I think is a very valuable lesson to everyone as far as some of the dirty games that happen in
Mm-hmm.
electoral politics. So I'm just going to hand it to you and
Yeah.
kind of let you explain that to everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Ron. And I think this is so important because, the big picture here is that when we don't advocate, when we let electoral politics just be, right, you're going to have players in there that don't always have communities' voices in mind, right? And so it's important to advocate at all these steps, whether it's redistricting, whether it's voting, whether it's getting to know who your candidates are, because if there's more of us than them, but if we don't get activated, right, you have shady shady things happening. So yes, so for me, Ron, I don't know if you could share images on your screen, but if anyone looks at the way the district is cut up, the first reaction I say is that's a weird shape. That's a
Hmm.
strange. That's definitely because there's literally a hole in the middle of a district. Generally, when you cut up districts, right? Um, you try to keep communities whole. That's what the California Constitution says. You listen to the voices in the community, and that's how you kind of draw the lines about how communities see themselves, where they see themselves, which other communities they want to be next to. So the big picture is what happened, with me is previously the district was called 64, and 64 included a lot of the South LA area, a little bit of the South Bay. So it had Carson that was whole, it had Compton that was whole, part of Watts, part of North Long Beach, but Pedro wasn't in there. We had Wilmington, Harbor Gateway, North Harbor Gateway. So 65 right now is basically many of those same communities with the addition of a part of San Pedro, much more of North Long Beach. And the biggest change that affected me directly was Carson was split for the first time in state history, right? And I was one block away from the split. So basically, the district I work in, my son goes to school in, my family lives in. I was removed and put into a new district that I didn't really have any identity with, as I do with the district I was in, right? Just a close identity.
And to let everybody know, I mean,
Yeah.
you are an educator, you are an
Mhm.
activist, you have a very long, extensive history in this district. You ran
Exactly.
for office before, so you've
Hmm.
built all of this up,
Relationships and
relationships, and
yeah,
now all of a
great issues.
sudden, the district's not the district anymore.
That's exactly it. It's not the district. And so it didn't take, my partner and I long to decide what we would do. We knew it would be hard because we actually bought our first home in Carson. And I love that community so much. I've gotten to know the residents there, folks on the city council, the activists there, the environmental activists. I've been on the streets, I've, knocked on doors, right? It's a community that I'm really been there for over a decade. Um, but to me, a lot of these issues, Ron, a lot of the issues you talk about on your show are part of the bigger picture. It's really beyond what affects us personally, and sometimes we make that sacrifice because it's worth it, right? It's that's simply it. It's worth it. And so I currently, we found a place that we're renting in Gardena, and thankfully my son didn't have to change his school, but it keeps me in the district and the set of communities that I'm deeply passionate about and that I really know really well, and so that's kind of where we're at right now.
And I
Mhm.
think that this story is important because this is really a lesson for people, not just in California, but all across the country.
Right.
Because this nonsense goes on all across the country, gerrymandering, breaking up districts, and it's done for various dirty tricks, and not just by Republicans. You see
Mhm.
Democrats doing it too. I mean, it really is a systemic disease. And in your situation, okay, it's great that you were able to make the move, but not everybody would be able to do that, but who's more likely to be able to do that? Somebody who is a
Yep.
grassroots organizer and an
Mhm.
activist who's really embedded in their community and genuinely wants to make it better, or someone who's just some real estate developer
Right.
jerk who wants to exploit the community and can just
Right,
kind of do
right.
whatever they want because it's their playground. So these rules really benefit the powerful, and it really benefits the people who get into local or quasi local politics for the wrong reason. And it puts a huge disadvantage on those who get into it for the right reasons.
Yes, 100%. I mean, you said it really well. Right now, what made me think about I'm going through, the whole Democratic Party endorsement process, and there's just bylaws that need to be changed. Let me just say that, but it's really hard to do that when, you know, um, we have only certain folks there that are appointed that are kind of in charge of the rules and the bylaws and such. And so to me, the big picture on is that there's this power play right now. I know we hear Bernie say this oligarchy and he talks about this all the time, but it's so true. And really, if all of us aren't aware and aren't activated, they do get things their way. And that's just it, right? But if enough of us understand the inner workings of it and how we can break in and call them out on BS and things that happen, right? Or on just on things that happen and hold them accountable. That's how we kind of gain our power and actually keep our power and how we can outsmart, right? This system that wasn't made for the working class. And
Yeah.
so just really important to be aware of yeah, like how these systems work, right? Because right now a lot of the rules aren't written for working class candidates, for grassroots candidates. It's written to protect, right, incumbents. It's
Oh,
written to
yeah.
protect the powerful. And so I mean we say that, but the thing is what I'm learning as a candidate, Ron, is that we say that in these rallies and stuff, but it's actually true when you're in a candidate and you're running. You're like, wow, these systems are not democratic. Like they're
Yeah.
just not, you know. Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, and we're gonna get into all that a little more, but I want to start like district focused first.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
So first of all, let me hand it over to you and just say, what do you think now that you are working within a new district, but still at
Mhm.
least somewhat adjacent? I mean, I think a lot of the needs are very similar.
Yeah.
What would you say are the most immediate needs of the district you are trying to get elected in? Uh oh, you froze a bit here, Fatima. You froze on us here. Hopefully you come back here in a second, but we did lose you. The tech gods are not
And you know,
smiling
I'll
on me.
start. I'll
There you
start
are. You're
big
back. You're
picture.
back.
Okay, I'm back. Oh
You're
my
back.
gosh,
Welcome back.
someone doesn't want me to talk about the issues in the district.
It's been the tech gods have not been smiling on me today.
No, no.
It's just one of
Aw.
those days. But
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's
well, sorry if
okay.
it's my end. I apologize. I'll try to get a cable like you said last time, but hopefully that'll be the last of it. Okay. So yes, I mean I'll start big picture, but to
Sure.
me, I'm all about neighborhood organizing, and that's why I'm so excited to get to Pedro and Door Knock. We haven't been able to do that yet. This past weekend, I was, I've been definitely been to Pedro a few times and sat down, talked with activists in Pedro, but I really loved going to the doors because there are folks that aren't activists where you hear real stories, because they're just working class, they're not able to go to these meetings and things. So I can't wait to knock on doors, is what I'm trying to say there. But starting big picture, the district still has a third of California's refineries. I mean, this has been the story since I started organizing. It's why I'm starting to run for office. Started running for office. So it has 33% of California's refineries in 1 out of 80 districts, right? Which is crazy concentration of pollution. It has Wilmington and many other areas, right, in the district that has 75% of drilling happening, oil drilling. So there's that sort of contamination. There's still areas that don't have access to clean water and just clean air to breathe and access to clean food, right? So that is a huge issue all over the district. An other issue that I see though now actually having, Pedro in, and we're all the way to the port, right, area,
Hmm.
is there's there's a conversation that happens around port pollution, but there's a big conversation with a lot of the labor down there that's, well, we don't want our jobs to be automated. So I want to bring that issue up, and I get that, and I want people listening, like I understand that. And we don't have to have this, disparity or this difference in, we can have environmental justice and have that on the backs of workers, right? We can have justice both ways, and so I want to talk about that because I know there's a fear of a lot of workers who work in these industries of losing their jobs, and I want folks to know that that's part of the reason I'm running. I feel like that sort of holistic conversation hasn't been had. It's sort of been in the, like, hey, like, like if you're for environmental justice, you're going to take away our jobs, and like I just want to say, like, that's not what it is. And we have this unique opportunity, Ron, in our district to show what a just transition really looks like, what it looks like to not have this movement of environmental justice happen while leaving workers behind, right? Right. We can create the tools and the policy that have both of those things in mind. But another issue is, we still have a lot of renters in the district,
Hmm.
and uh, my sister-in-law, for example, is in the district now and has like a month to like move out because a speculator brought out her property, and she's in the middle of a school year with her kids. But we have a lot of these issues with renters that are still at risk of losing their homes like anytime, right? And that to me is, a huge cause of being housing burdened or even becoming homeless. And so we have to think about how we can really have our tenants' rights, like, in our policy, in our law, have our renters protected. Um, and, in terms of homeowners, I have to see how it is in Pedro, but I know all over the district, there are folks that are paying really high property taxes. And so we need to make sure that, one, the property taxes are matching the income level of the community, because that's not always the case, but that if you pay property taxes, you have things taken care of, like your roads and your parks and things like that, because that's also a huge issue all over the district. So that's sort of some of the issues. There's so many, but those are the ones
Sure.
kind of top of mind for me right now.
Let's stay with the environment for a little
Yeah,
bit because
sure.
this was also something I really wanted to talk to you about. I know that there has been some movement as
Mhm.
far as drilling bans in parts of Wilmington, and you have been vocal on that. So what's your overall assessment on what's been going on there? Does it go far enough? Is it a step in the right direction? What's your overall assessment as someone who is on the ground in those communities?
Yeah. I'll start with this because it gets to be a very political issue, but where it shouldn't be, right? This is like just a basic issue. The oil is going to run out. For folks that like oil, the oil is not a sustainable source of fuel for
For you,
humanity.
for
I
you
don't care what
oil enthusiasts.
if we're all oil enthusiasts, it's going to run out. Sorry to tell you, right? So, whatever your side is on oil, if we care about workers, if we care about a sustainable future where we have energy, right? Do we want our cars still working?
Oh, you just froze again. Fatima, once you unfreeze, we're going to talk about how municipal broadband should be part of your platform. Sorry, folks. Fatima just froze on us again.
Did I
There
just
you go.
freeze?
You're back. You're back.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Yes, let's talk about broadband. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry about that. It's keeping people on their toes, Ron. It's okay.
Right?
Yeah. So, yeah. So wanted to just say that look, the oil's going to run out, and we have to think about jobs.
Oh, geez. Okay. We just lost you again. Let's see. Yeah, we just lost you again. Hopefully you come back here soon and we can do it to it. In the meantime, I'll mention to everybody watching, I got tour dates. Get your tickets now. First of all, Thursday, got a local show in Los Angeles at Flappers Comedy Club. Graham Elwood's going to be there. Graham Elwood's coming in for the show. He's going to be there Thursday night. We got a lot of other special guests as well. Dave Carter's going to be doing a set. Roger Michael's going to be doing a set. Tickets at romplacone.com. April, Northeast in Canada. I'm coming, baby. Pittsburgh, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Burlington, Vermont, Portland, Maine, Boston, Mass, and New York City. Get your tickets at romplacone.com. We just lost Fatima. Hopefully she's able to hop back in, but she might be having some tech issues here. And I got to point this out. This is freaking crazy. So Nicole, first of all, congratulations on the Bjork tickets. That's awesome. Nicole over on the Rockfin is going to go see Bjork tonight. But also, yeah, I saw your tweet. So, and Nicole, I'm assuming you're the same person. You tweeted at me and you said, I had a dream that I was having difficulty chatting on your show. And this happened earlier in the morning. And today, we don't have chat functioning on YouTube. So how crazy is that? That is weird. You kind of predicted it. That's what is that? It's not ESP, is it? But yeah, you had a dream that that's crazy. Somebody had a dream that they had a hard time chatting on my show. They tweeted me about it. Today, the chat goes down on our show. Yeah, or the chat never even went. It wasn't able to load. Like YouTube chat is down. My guest is having some connection issues. Could be on her end, might just be like a another quirky thing. Here she is. Let's see if we can get her back. Fatima, are you there?
Yes. So I
Okay.
figured out the problem. Okay.
Oh,
we do need universal high quality broadband. So right now, my partner said our spectrum, his internet's going in and out too. It's just unreliable.
really?
Yeah. But I changed it to my hotspot. So on my phone, which is what he suggested, and so it should be much better now because my hotspot is much better. So we shouldn't have that. But there was an issue with our internet going in and out. Again,
wow.
another issue in our district. Oh my gosh.
Municipal broadband.
You know what, Ron? I did that on purpose just to prove a point.
Just to prove that we need municipal broadband.
Right.
You know, you're like, I'm going up on the municipal broadband enthusiast in San Pedro. I really got to drive the point home to help him out.
Exactly. See, I hope people get it in San Pedro now. But no, I'm on my hotspot now, so we should be good. Because I went off of my other internet that was being unstable. So
well, I appreciate your quick tech solution skills. I made the most of the time. I plugged my tour dates. What else could you do? I mean, come on.
Yeah. All right. So should we go back to our other conversation?
Yeah. So I wanted to focus on right now the drilling bans that have happened, the restrictions that have happened. Do they go far enough? Are they not enough? What's your overall assessment on what's going on as someone who is a member of those communities?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I lived in Carson, a mile from a refinery. And so I didn't want my son growing up, around that. But like I said, just to connect to what I last said, the oil's going to run out. We need to think of a sustainable future. And a lot of this, what I see happening is a lot of misinformation being told to sort of union, folks working in these industries about their jobs going to be taken away and things like that. A lot of the things with the oil ban and the drilling that's happening, there's not many human, that's just like, there's not many human jobs in that. And, so we have to think about why we can't end oil drilling and ban fracking.
Sure.
Right. I mean, these are things that have to happen, Ron. Like if you go to parts of the district, which I'm sure you're driven by, whether it's Harbor City or Wilmington, I mean, it's sad that you see drilling happening next to a restaurant, next to a church, next to a home. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's not by accident, right? Because if you go to other places in LA, where there's more, sort of privileged folks living, homeowners and things like that, you don't see that happening. And even if you see it, it's nicely hidden away, and you see it kind
Sure.
of in a one-off sort of situation. But in Wilmington, it's just like literally like in just high abundance right there and high concentration. And it's literally killing a community, right? We talk about things like gun violence. We talk about things like, police shootings, and those are all super important. But I see environmental racism and this sort of drilling as the silent, slow killer, but it's still a killer. It's another way we are putting down working class communities to say you don't matter as much. Because the fact is, if this was a wealthy, I'll just say it, a wealthier, more white community, you would not see it. And so what we're saying, telling them is, here's another way we're gonna, make sure your children, don't have the healthiest lives, or we're gonna make sure that literally your life expectancy, you're gonna die young. And that's what happens, right? Like when you look at
Yeah.
life expectancy stats, cancer, asthma stats, life expectancy is much lower, in Wilmington and Watts and things like that. And that is largely in part due to, social determinants, right? One of which is, what's your living area like? So
Yeah. Well, I mean, and
yeah.
you're preaching to the choir here. I mean,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
the analogy for fracking I like to give, and I'm borrowing it from a guy named Stephen Merchant who ran for
Mhm.
office in Florida a couple years back. Fracking, it's like blowing up a person to try to get them to fart. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense even from like an energy standpoint. It's like not even a band-aid. The only people benefiting from it are the oil CEOs, because a lot of this energy isn't even staying domestic. And like you said, I mean, it's a completely unsustainable way of doing things anyway. The only thing we should do with fossil fuels is end it. It is time to end it. Like there's just no in
Yeah.
between. There's no like it is time to end the fossil fuel industry, and it is time to build a new tomorrow. And we got to start now. We can't wait. We should have been having these conversations in the 70s. Did I lose you again? I think I lost you again. Okay. This is one of those days. This is one of those days where YouTube messes with me. The internet's messing with us. The world doesn't want Ron to have a show today. The world is saying, Ron, no show for you. No show for you. There's a lot of other things I really wanted to talk to Fatima about. Um, and I don't know if we're going to get to. So, all right. Well, hmm. Okay, we lost Fatima again. Um, all right.
Yes.
Oh, you're
Yeah, 100.
back. You're back. Are you back? You're not back. You were back. Then we lost you again. Um, all right. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, do we have
Sorry,
you?
Ron.
It's
It's my
okay.
phone. It's my phone.
It's
I don't know
okay.
what's going on. Okay. All right. Yeah. So 100, no, 100% agree with you. Um, in terms of, yes, we have to be thinking of a more sustainable future. And that's, I was just going to say, that's one of the reasons I didn't wait to run till my opponent termed out, right? Because I'm challenging an incumbent, right?
Right.
That's not really normal. People wait for the right time when the seat's open and all that. But I just knew that it was a big priority of mine, because I knew that um, we need movements and leaders up there that understand like this. And I feel like we're not acting fast enough as a state, as a country, to really figure out where our energy needs are going to come from, and to really fight for the health of our communities as well, right? And so
Sure.
that's part of the reason I'm challenging an incumbent who has shown himself to be really sold out, right, to those industries you talked about.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So, let's get into some of the more recent things that have gone on in California that has really made my blood boil very, very, very much.
Mhm.
Like AB 1400, what happened with single payer healthcare. Um, this has been a dirty trick that's been going on for 13 years and counting. And,
Just lost
oh,
it. Okay, there you go.
you
Mhm.
lost me now?
No, no, I didn't lose you. I thought I did,
Oh, okay.
but no. Okay, keep going, keep going.
Well, I just wanted to kind of get your
Yeah,
take on
yeah,
everything that went down with single payer because I mean this kind of gets into, you know, this is why someone like me, my enthusiasm for electoralism is limited to local and quasi local, and like I've told you on the phone before, you're basically as high as I go. You know, I mean,
mhm,
when it comes to federal stuff, my interest is basically non-existent because I just feel like there's better ways to be
yeah,
fighting for change. I get that some people need to operate in the electoral realm, and I salute them. But it's just something that I am just so far beyond frustrated. And at the state level, when you see these dirty tricks happen, like what happened with single payer healthcare, how do we change all this? How do we stop this?
yeah. Um, I hear you, Ron. Like because I'm not gonna. I'll just start with this because I'm a human being. I'm running for office, but I felt nauseous like that day and the day after.
Yeah, me too.
And I told Ash Colora that too, the author of the bill. Like when he called me yesterday, I was on a call with him for the first time actually. I was like, look, I just felt nauseous. And it's because like it's this frustrating thing where that our elected officials are so removed from like the problems because like I'm sure me and you know folks that like have huge healthcare bills or don't
Yeah.
want to go to the doctor, right? Like we know these real stories and these really not that stories, they're real lived experiences. And so it's frustrating. Um and so what I want to tell people is I understand your frustration. I feel it too. I think where I see hope is we have folks up there. We have, a few, like we have Ash Kalra, we have Alex Lee, and while their legislation, like, a lot of it's getting blocked and not getting the votes and things like that. Um,
Well, he pulled it.
he pulled it. Yeah,
I mean,
I
he
know.
pulled I mean, look, and
Yeah.
and and I don't you don't I understand you
No,
have to
no,
have a
it's
certain
okay.
level of diplomacy because 'cause you're running
Yeah,
for the office. I get
yeah.
that. Um, but, to me, it's like Anthony Rendon pulled that trick. He paid
Mhm.
0 political price. Ash Kalra pulled that trick. He will likely pay 0 political price. I know that there's a lot of other villains
Yeah,
in this.
I
It's
know.
not like either one of them are working alone. But when you allow these systemic
Mhm.
tricks to go on for
Yeah,
13 years and there's no consequence, it's like, well, how do you change the system? I mean, yes, I want to see you representing my district over this other person because you would do a much better job. And I know that you, of course, would be a yes vote for single payer. But if somebody else just pulls the trick again, I
yeah.
mean, you're not gonna even get that chance.
Yeah. You know
And
what?
it's
Yeah,
let me ask you this,
yeah,
I
yeah,
will ask you this, has Ash Kalra endorsed you?
yeah. No, he hasn't, and
I mean,
I,
I know it's not your I'm not blaming
yeah,
you as an
I know,
individual,
I
but
know. No,
systemically,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
just so
yeah. I
frustrating,
know,
Fatima.
I know, I know, I know, and I'll just share this. I told him this too. I said, "Look, okay, I played devil's advocate, right? And
Alright.
with him and with some other progressives, and I said, look, even if you don't endorse me, is that really changing of that Gibson's voting for your bills? Because of their argument is like, oh, I can, they're my colleagues and I can get them to support my bills. But I'm like, they're not even doing it anyway, even when you're not endorsing me. So like, what's the point? And like I'll say like I do understand like how the bill should have gone to the floor. I think the thing is this, right? I think we need, Ron, this is where I see we need a variety of voices up there. One, we don't have enough women. I'd be like the only teacher up there. And like, we can't downplay our teachers. Like we know how to have communication, right? And like talk and stuff like that. I don't and Ash Carter did a great job, and the authors did a great job. I get it of doing it. But the thing is we just need a diverse range of voices in there with different experiences. For me as a teacher,
Oh, we lost you again. We lost you again. Okay. Yeah, this is, alright. Well, I don't know if we're gonna get Fatima back this time, folks. We just lost her again here. Um, all right. Well, here All right, let me
There you
see.
go.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we lost you at your experience as a teacher.
Yeah, my
Because
experience as a teacher, yes.
let's just go a little longer, and then we'll
Yeah.
wrap this up because we're kinda having continuing issues,
I
and I know
know,
it's hard for
Ron.
both of us.
Sorry.
I always like it. I mean, it's just stuff that happens. You don't need to apologize, but it's
I
like
know.
whenever tech issues kinda sabotage an interview, it's like trying to have an interview underwater. It's like very
It's so frustrating.
it's like we're underwater waving, and then we pop up, and I'm just like, "So, your experience as a teacher." Then we go back under again, and it's just, it's very
Yeah,
difficult. It
sorry.
can be
Ron,
kinda interesting,
we'll
but
do this again and I'll make sure I have the wire. Like obviously we just moved and stuff, and don't didn't have that set up. And I checked with my partner. I was gonna change it. We didn't have that. So I tried the hotspot, but we'll do this again some other time and we'll have a smooth sailing, hopefully. Next
we
time.
had a smooth sailing last time. Yeah, this is just one of those days the tech gods have sabotaged me in every way. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
YouTube I've been having
sorry.
issues with YouTube, yeah, maybe it's my seething anger from last week has just dripped into the tech gods. That's what it is.
I know.
My
Yeah.
AB 1400 anger is just seething
Yeah,
into. But
yeah.
so
I think,
you were
yeah.
talking about your experience as a teacher. We need
Mm,
more people up there, which I agree with 100%, obviously. But I mean, again, I just feel like there's a true systemic rot going on, even at the state level.
I know.
Like
There
it's
is.
just there. You can't deny it. And it's like when I see people like Brian Odega running for city council, and I want him to win because I know he would be such a step in a better direction for our district. And when I see you running for state assembly, I want you to win because I know
Yeah.
you'd be so much better for our district. And the other thing that I know about the two of you, which is why, I
Mhm.
mean, full disclaimer, and I just feel like it's important to be transparent, you are the only two people I have, like, formally endorsed for
Mhm.
what if you wanna use it, you don't have to, but, like, and you're the only people that I have contributed to financially. You're the only
Yeah.
people in electoralism I have given to financially.
Thank you,
All of
Ron.
my
Yeah.
other financial, givings go to, mutual aid efforts and digital rights organizations most of the time, so but I still see this systemic rot, and it's like, how do you tackle that? Can you tackle that? Like, and it's not just gonna be something you can do alone, but
Mhm.
but how I mean, how can we begin to even change that shift?
Yeah. I was gonna say what I know we're getting cut off, so it's taking the back and forth a little bit. But what I was gonna say is with AB 1400, I just wanted to say, I think what should have been done is from the get go, the authors of the bill should have just told their colleagues like this is gonna go for a vote, and you can decide to not vote for it or just like walk off the floor, like like Gibson did, and like my opponent didn't support it, but it's gonna go up for a vote. I think that's what's missing up there because when we don't have these votes, Ron, there's no accountability,
Yeah.
right? And we're all it is like protecting, right?
Well, that's
Even if
exactly what it was. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, there's
yeah,
no I mean, Ash Kalra, and
mhm,
he's not the first person to do it, and he won't be the last, but he made
yeah,
the choice to protect his colleagues over the people. I mean, you can't
mm,
deny that, and the fact that he hasn't and other people in that Zoom were saying, "Where is the Fatima endorsement?" He's saying, "We need more people who
oh, they
support this
were?
bill."
Okay,
Yes! I don't know if you
okay.
were in that I thought you were in that Zoom. I don't know if you were or not. There were
Thank
too
you to
many people.
everyone that said that. Thank you.
People
That
were
that
saying
no,
that. They were like, he
yeah,
keeps saying because he kept saying,
mhm,
"We need to get more people who
yeah,
support." It's like, well, why didn't you force the vote so we knew who was against it, so we know who to go after in elections? And
mhm,
where's your endorsement for Fatima,
mhm,
who is pro single payer and her opponent isn't?
yeah,
That's why I
yeah,
asked that question. Has he endorsed you? And the
yeah,
fact that he hasn't, it's like, and you don't need to respond to this because I
yeah,
understand the
no,
position you're in, but
no,
that
I'll
guy,
respond.
he
Yeah,
needs to pay a political price.
yeah,
Because it's like, if these people don't pay a political
mhm,
price, it's gonna happen for another 13 years.
mhm,
That's just what's gonna happen, and
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, how many 13 years? It'd be one
No,
thing
I
if it
know.
happened once or twice.
Yeah, I know.
13 years?
No, and single payer, I want people to know, has been a fight for like decades, right? I think I saw a graphic on Twitter, and I didn't know this. It's not just SB 562 before this. There were like attempts, right? And like
And they had no problem getting it through when they knew a Republican governor was going to veto it.
Yeah,
When they knew.
yeah. I think that's why people lose trust in government. Like I said, I think the expectation should have been there when this bill was there. Look, it's going to go to a floor vote, and if you don't vote for it, that's fine. But your constituents are going to know. Like, and like in the time, right? The thing that the authors say, oh, we need to work with them and see. But then they had like okay, use that time to work, get all your questions answered. But when it comes to a floor vote, you better know where you stand, right? Because it's going to happen. And so like it's so important for that, because then you lose the trust of the public, you lose the trust of the folks that have worked so hard for this, and actors and people like you who are like hardly believing. I'm not trying to make you down at all, Ron, but I get it. Like, you're hardly probably believing in electoral politics, and something like this will be like,
well, that's fair. I say that myself. You don't have to.
Like, here's the thing.
You're actually being a little too generous by saying hardly. So.
No, but here's the thing, right? I think, one thing I can promise is how I would act if I was up there and I had a bill that had the backing that would make systemic change. I would let my colleagues know, like, this is going to go full floor vote because we owe it to the Californian people, to my district, to all of your districts, to show where we stand. Look, ask me any questions about it. Give me amendments. Fine. Do that before, but it's going to go to a vote. And that's what I can promise to people, right, who would support me, is that I would not do that. Because at the end of the day, the legislature is one body of 80 plus 40 people. But the people of the state deserve that. They deserve to have policies heard and voted on, right? Amen. And so here's the thing. That's the thing I can promise. But the thing is, here's the thing. When we get to that point, though, right? When we get to that point, we also need, like you said, I'm one person. I would vote yes on it. Alex Lee would vote yes, and a handful of other legislators. Now the next thing is, how do we get this policy to become reality, right? And to me, that's why, Ron, I know we didn't talk a lot about this because of the issues with the tech. I totally get it. We'll maybe have a separate time we can talk about this. One of the issues that I want to lead on is really get to publicly financed elections and funded elections, campaign finance reform, voting rights. I want to allow immigrants, regardless of status, folks who are incarcerated, to vote, right? Because we don't talk about this in California, but there are many ways we are suppressing the vote by keeping out folks that should be voting, like you said, in local elections that have such importance, and we're not. So I want to, expand the right to vote drastically, make voting a holiday, because I know for a fact when I was working full-time as a teacher, it was very hard to get to the polls. And I can imagine someone having two jobs, make it a holiday. Automatic voter registration. Why don't we have that in California yet? Like, automatic voter registration. When you turn 18, go. I also think 16, 17-year-olds should vote in school board elections and local elections.
Oh, I think they should vote in everything.
Yes.
If you can drive a car, you can vote. Oh man, you froze, right? Man, God damn it. We lost you again. All right. Here, let's see. Here, I'll go ahead. So, Fatima, let's see if you kind of unfreeze there. And because I'm hoping that at this point we can just kind of end the show to where you can plug everything. Fatima, are you there? All right. Yeah, we lost her. Well, I want Fatima to be able to plug all of her stuff before we sign off here. So we will we'll give it a minute or two here, and then if not, I can of course plug her website on her behalf. I mean, I'm sure she's going to want to mention her website. I think that's safe to say. And then we'll just kind of dismount the episode. For everybody tuning in late, I apologize for the tech hiccups today. We had tech hiccups on YouTube, where the chat is not able to function because I could not change the settings, because YouTube was not allowing me to change the settings. YouTube hiccups are pretty regular on this show. And for everyone listening to the podcast later, I'm really sorry about this. I know this kind of makes for a wonky interview when there's all these interruptions because of tech. But yeah, I'm keeping my eye on my phone in case Fatima texts me. Yeah. So one of those days, folks, one of those days. And I appreciate you understanding. I appreciate your patience. The YouTube stuff, I just kind of, I plan for that at this point. I just anticipate YouTube may act up at any given moment. All right, I think we got Fatima. Fatima, are you here?
So now the third solution is I'm on my phone. So forget my phone hotspot. That was useless. So I am literally on my phone right now. And if this isn't working, I don't know.
Well, let's
right.
well, first of all, this is a moving lesson for why municipal broadband needs to be on your
Yes.
this will be,
This
you know
is an
what,
ad, Ron.
someday this is an ad. What's going to happen is you're going to win, and
Right.
then, you know, I'm an outsider. You're never going to see me.
I'm going to use this interview as
That's
an
right.
example.
That's right. That's right. And you'll be like, Ron Placone is here. He's a municipal broadband
Right.
enthusiast, not a big electoralism guy, but
broadband is his thing.
Broadband's his thing, and he's here, and we agree on broadband, and he's helping me with this, and let's get this done. Let's get this done in our community.
Let's get this done. You're going to be up in Sacramento and talking about, you know, your experience with broadband. We're going to get it done.
Well, you know what? I mean, I want to kind of wrap up here, but I will say one of the bright moments in California that will impact the rest of the country too is Gavin Newsom did sign the broadband bill. So there is a huge opportunity that is kind of at our doorstep now. We do have the opportunity to build a broadband system that would be exemplary, not just for the country, but for the world.
Yeah.
We have the resources to do it now. It's just a matter of executing it right.
Executing. And, what I worry about, Ron, I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer here, but what I'm worried about though is who's running it, right? Because we've seen when PG&E and, you know, utilities and things like when you have privately owned companies running, you know, public services, right? What should be publicly available, what happens with that? So that's my concern with this bill. I have to look into it to see how the execution will happen, but to me, whenever it's for-profit companies, the motive sort of changes, and I'm not sure, but like we have to. I think that's why the implementation becomes important. In making sure it's done right and making sure it really follows through. But I wanted to finish on my thought before that we were talking about really quick, and is that, you know, I was talking about when a bill gets to the floor. Right? So I was talking about campaign finance reform, and the issue I'm seeing is there's so many great candidates running. But like AOC says, like, you know, something like 1 in 100 or something will make it, right? And that's not okay, right? We need to get more of the right candidates up there, because when AB 1400 comes to the floor and good bills come to the floor, like I promise I'll bring those bills, you know, to the floor and then hold the vote. But at the end of the day, for it to become policy, right, we need the folks in there to make sure that it actually passes, right? Because otherwise it's not going to become policy. And so we need campaign finance reform, expand voting rights like we were talking about, to get the right candidates in there. Because right now, like I said, it's very hard for working class candidates to run and win in a system that's really made for, you know, incumbents who take all the money and, you know, buy elections. So yeah.
So where can people go? Thank you for your patience during this interview. And I'm sorry we had our hiccups here, but, you know, we'll definitely make up for it down the road. And this will be a testament for the need for municipal broadband. And yeah, I mean, obviously we don't have time to like get into all the nitty gritty of that bill, but it is an opportunity that keeps it in the hands of cities and municipalities, which is a good thing, because I'm with you, you know, privatization is what got us in this mess in the first place. But so where can people go to learn more about you and to get involved with your campaign should they choose to? Did we just, oh, you got to be kidding me. Did we just lose you again at the very end? We just lost. Oh, wow. We cannot get a break. Okay. All right, Fatima, if you can hear me, thank you so much for being here today. I'm sorry about all this. We lost you again. I'll go ahead. I have your website pulled up here so I can tell people where they can go. Oh, wait, I think we got you. All right. Are you there?
Now I went off my Wi-Fi on my phone. So
okay.
Solution number 4.
Solution number 4.
All right.
Okay.
So
I was just in closing, tell people where they can go to learn more about you and to get involved.
Yeah. And I just want to say I'm so sorry to the audience watching and for staying with us, because I know it's frustrating watching it, but hopefully we'll be back on, Ron. We'll do a smooth show, smooth sailing next time. But hopefully there's a lot of good stuff we talked about. So I'm excited. Yes. If you want to get involved, learn more. Right now, the system's really rigged in terms of, how much money my opponent's going to throw into this race. He didn't accept voluntary spending limits. So please, donate $3. It all helps. $2, $3, $10, $100. If you can do more, that's fine. But it all helps. If we can do that, we can really execute a paid field program. We can send out a couple of mailers to those regular voters and things like that. And so please donate. That takes a second. But we have multiple opportunities. So Ron, I know you're in the district, and hopefully you can join us for canvassing. We go every Sunday, every Friday. So if you have half day Fridays, we go in the afternoon, Sundays at 1. sign up on our website. The link is bit.ly/Fatima Canvas. So bit.ly/Fatima Canvas with 2 S's. Or you can sign up on my website. Phone banking, I'm not sure if you have the phone banking form up yet, but if you go to Get Involved, the Get Involved button right there, and then just tell us what you're interested in, whether it's hosting a meet and greet, phone banking, postcarding, what have you. We need your people power.
The website is fatimafораssembly.com. That's
Yes.
fatimafораssembly.com.
Yep.
Normally on YouTube, that would be in the show notes, but again, the settings were frozen on us today, so I wasn't able to update show notes. But yeah, I will get to that hopefully in the future after this goes out. So yeah, Fatima, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bearing through the issues. And yeah, I wish you all the luck, and we'll definitely have you back on. And hopefully you will be my state assembly district member. And hopefully I will be working alongside you for municipal broadband, among other things.
Yes, let's go. That's our top priority. Get up there. Municipal broadband. 100%, Ron. You can be my policy advisor in that area.
I'll take you up on it.
Let's do it. All right. Okay.
All right, Fatima. Thank you for everything you do. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to you for being patient as the host, too. Thank you so much. Sorry about all the issues today. All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Peace. All right. There you have it. fatimafораssembly.com. Again, we're not a big electoralism show. Everybody knows that. But local, quasi-local, that's where I get a little more excited, because I think there's a lot you can do there, comparatively speaking. Brian Odega, who I endorsed, is running for my my local city council district. Fatima is a little higher up. I would say that qualifies as quasi-local because she's my state assembly district. She'll have to deal with the systemic rot of the state California Democratic Party should she get in. But there's still a lot she can do, like for the district specifically. So, I am excited for her, and I definitely want to see her win. You can learn more about her at fatimafораssembly.com. And I'm glad we got through her story about the redistricting and what she went through, because I think that's really a snapshot of what people face in the quasi-local and local political world, where they do these dirty tricks of redistricting, of switching districts. And this isn't just something Republicans do. Republicans do it a lot, yes, but this happens in California too. And California has a Democratic stronghold. So, this is something that those with money and those with power do to keep those without it out. Again, I mean, if you're in Fatima's case, she was able to move, which is awesome. But how many people wouldn't be? How many people might be in the same situation she was in, where they're a local activist, they're an educator, they're an organizer, they're invested into the district, not financially, but with, people power. They build something up in the district. They run for office. They don't win the first time. They want to run again. Then all of a sudden, they're redistricted. If you're somebody who's just some real estate developer trying to buy an election, no problem. You'll just rent somewhere else, and you're not invested in the district anyway. You're just buying an election. You're just trying to spend the most money so that people just recognize your name and they vote for you. And you get these, you get these heavy endorsements from other rich and powerful people, and they buy you a seat. Redistricting doesn't hurt people like that. But redistricting can certainly hurt people like Fatima. And that's why her story is very noteworthy. Whether you're in California, whether you're in Arizona, whether you're in Nevada, whether you're in any state, you get the idea. That'd be kind of funny if I named all 50 of them. Like, Ron, we get it. By like state number 10, people would be like, someone go check on Ron. Is he okay? Like, I'm just going across. Whether you're in Kansas, whether you're in Indiana, whether you're in Ohio, they're like, holy shit, dude, I think he's lost it. I think I start singing the state capital songs. They're like, Ron had tech issues today and issues with YouTube. And he just snapped. We knew it might happen at some point. Holy shit. Ron lost it. Guys, everyone on the Rockfin, everyone on Twitter, everyone on YouTube, and everyone listening to the podcast later, thank you for your patience. I am sorry about the tech hiccups today. When you do a show live, it is something that occasionally happens. It has happened in the past. It will happen in the future. And we just try to navigate through it the best we can. But, when you have a live stream component to your show, that is something that is inevitable. But thank you for being here. Tour dates, I got them. RonPlacone.com for tickets. Los Angeles this Thursday. Hope to see you out in LA. Graham Elwood's going to be there. Dave Carter's going to be there. Might have a few other special guests too as well. Waiting to hear back from a few folks. But it's going to be a fun show. You can get tickets right now at RonPlacone.com. And April, going to the Northeast in Canada for my Poutine Not Pipelines tour. Pittsburgh, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Burlington, Vermont, Portland, Maine, Boston, Mass, New York City, baby. RonPlacone.com for those tickets. Chris Moen's going to be opening those shows, and Lauren Ashcraft is also going to be opening in Pittsburgh and New York. Going to be a fun time. And might have some more international news soon when it comes to the road. Might have some more soon. Nothing totally confirmed yet, but fingers crossed. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience. Sorry about the problems today. If you want to support this show, best way to do it, patreon.com/RonPlacone. YouTube kind of gives us headaches on the regular. It's been that way for well over a year. It's been longer than that. Definitely, probably 2 to 3 years at this point. Yeah, it's been a while. Basically, since the adpocalypse happened, we've had, and this show started after Apocalypse, I'm pretty sure. So, but it's been a couple years now. It's been a while. So we just trudged through it. And if you want to help this show and make sure it stays on the air, best way to do it, Rockfin Premium or patreon.com/RonPlacone. For Give What You Can, Love What You Get, all kinds of cool perks, and you help keep this show on the air. Even $1 a month goes a long way. So if you got an extra $1 a month, you won't miss. Patreon.com/RonPlacone helps keep this show around. All right. You know the drill. Lucy, she says meow. I say peace, love, and a general strike. See you Thursday.